Well, good evening. We want to welcome you to In the Blender with Brandon and Madeline Hyman. And I tell you, we're just so excited to be with you all on this evening. We just have a phenomenal episode on this evening to share with you guys. I'm telling you, you want to make sure that there's no distractions. There's nothing that's going to take away your attention, because what we're going to be sharing on this evening is going to be life-changing. And so we just can't wait to give with you guys. We want to give you a moment. Some of you guys want to call your family, your friends, to let them know that In the Blender with Brandon and Madeline Hyman is on the air. And I tell you, it's just going to be phenomenal. So listen, real quick, we're going to do a quick, the statistics from last week's episode. We're going to share with you guys. Then we're going to do a brief recap. And then we're going to go right into the lesson. Also, too, we want to let you guys know on this week, we're still sowing seed into the viewership. And so on this week, we'll be, let me see that 1 second, sweetheart. This week, we'll be sowing Storms, a DVD called Storms. This was by Dr. Michael A. Freeman on October the 8th. I'm telling you, it's phenomenal. We're talking about storms on this evening. And so this particular DVD is just going to be absolutely life-changing. So you want to make sure that when we give you the details, you give us your information so that we can put this into your hands. But real quickly, we want to go into the statistics. Sweetheart, let's get the statistics from last week.
Okay. Women who grew up in a two-parent family are less likely to divorce a second time, 33%, than women who came from a blended family or single family, 49%. Mm-hmm. Many parents are unable to separate their needs from their children's needs and often share too much of their personal life with their children in a precarious emotional state, vulnerable to grandiosity or to depression within what is left of their families.
Wow.
And then lastly, almost half of all marriages today are at least the second marriage for one of the partners.
And so we always like to share statistics just to let you know where the dynamics of the blended family lies and what we need to do as blended families to change those statistics and to improve upon what needs to be improved upon as it relates to the blended family. And so we're just excited to share those with you just so you'll know, because in order to get to where you're going, there always had to be a starting point. And so these statistics are just starting points. They're not the ending point, but we want to let you know where we don't want to go and where we need to end up. And so, again, we're going to give you a brief recap of last week's episode. But we want to encourage everyone to go to our Facebook page or the In the Blender Facebook page, and you can view the broadcast from last week in its entirety. I tell you, it just was phenomenal. We've been getting calls, emails, texts, you name it. People been reaching out to us, encouragement, of how much this ministry gift has been a blessing to them and to their lives and to their family. And so we're excited. We're just super excited about this. Sweetheart, let's start with the recap of last week.
So you want me to read them?
Yes.
People are dependent upon you to have a successful blended family.
Stop. So that was big, and we wanted to start right there. People are dependent upon you to have a successful blended family, and we shared a lot about that, but I just wanted to touch bases on that again. It's important to understand that you are someone's piece to their puzzle. Mm-hmm. And so if you don't make sure that your family is a success, that your blended family is on top, then what happens is somebody can't begin to complete their puzzle, and they can't begin to complete what they need to complete in order to be fulfilled in their lives, because you are holding that key. And so it's important to understand, family, that listen, people are dependent upon you to have a successful blended family. Whether you know it or not, you're responsible for someone else's success. Mm-hmm. And we always, when we say this, because we mean that, but words are relative. Mm-hmm. My response is my responsibility. But guess what? Your success is my responsibility. If I don't take wholeheartedly what I'm doing as relates to my life, then I can be responsible. I can be the stumbling block that causes you to miss the mark in what you're trying to get to. And so just like I have to take that responsibility in my life and in my family and in my marriage and in my blended family, guess what? You have to do the same thing, because we always hear this. And one thing I love about my pastor, he's just an awesome man of God, but he's just always dropping nuggets. And one of the things that he always says is more is caught than taught. And so while you don't think it's important for you to sustain and to thrive in your blended family, guess what? What you're showing other people is defeat. What you're showing someone else is they can walk away. What you're showing someone else is that they can give up, they can throw in the towel. So it's very important to understand that people are dependent upon you to have a successful blended family.
He will love you too.
What's the next one, sweetie?
Speak to your storms, and it shall obey your words. Everything has ears and will do according to what you say. Most people are trained to run away from their storms instead of speaking to them.
Exactly. And what I've learned is most of us, we don't speak to the storm. We speak with the storm. What do you mean? When things are coming up against you and your family or whatever area of your life, instead of speaking to it and commanding it to cease, you go into agreement with it. This is more than I can handle. I don't know how I'm going to make it. You know, this is too big for me. She get on my nerves. He get on my nerves. I can't stand them. I wish this was that. I don't know how I'm going to make it. And instead of speaking to that situation, what you're doing is you're coming into total agreement with it. And that's the reason why you're not seeing the victory in what it is you want to see the victory in. So we want to encourage you guys to start off speaking to your storm. Everything, let me say it again. Everything has ears. Everything has ears. Everything has ears and will do accordingly to what you say. So if you, it's just like you got a vehicle. If you say this raggedy car, guess what? Your car gonna be raggedy. I don't care if it is a 76 or 84 or 93. If you call it raggedy, guess what you're gonna have? You're gonna have a raggedy car. The same way it is with your marriage. The same way it is with your family. If you call your kids dumb, you call your kids stupid, then guess what? You're speaking. They hear what you're saying. If you talk negative about your relationship, guess what? Your relationship now falls in line to what your words are. So when you're saying all these things and you're just thinking you're just venting, you're thinking you're getting things off your chest, what you don't understand is you're actually commanding that thing to be so. And so it's important to understand everything has ears. Jesus did it like this. The Bible says he was walking by and saw a fig tree afar off. Knowing that it was time for the figs and he was hungry, he wanted to go and pluck a fig off of it. But when he saw that the fig wasn't producing, he cursed the fig, and the fig never produced again. Well, guess what? That fig heard his words. The same way that inanimate object heard Jesus is the same way your marriage hears you. One of the things that we did early on, even when we were going through what we went through, we always say we're on top in every area of our lives. Our marriage is on top. We're going to be a platform for people to watch. We were saying things even when we really didn't even like to be around each other, but we still was decreeing and declaring what we wanted to see happen in our marriage. And because of that, because we kept on decreeing, because we kept on declaring, because we kept on speaking to those storms that was coming up against us, we started seeing things turn the direction that we wanted them to be in. And so it's just important to understand that. What's our next point, sweetie?
Don't give up. Too many people throw in the towel before they see the manifestation of what they were waiting for to come to pass.
Don't give up. Stop throwing in the towel. I mean, it's just like, listen, I'm from the streets. I don't care how good you hit me. That towel isn't going to get thrown in. And I'm finding out, sweetie, that a lot of people, they talk a good talk, but they don't have no fight in them. One of the things we used to say, listen, if you get off the porch if you can't be with the big dogs. Because a lot of people want to bark. A lot of people got a good bark. A lot of people got a good persona. They give a good image out. But when it comes to that fight, when it comes to sticking in and hanging in there and getting what they want out of life, getting what they want out of their marriage and their family, I find out that people don't have that fight. They throw it in the towel left and right. I'm talking about people that you wouldn't believe giving up. People that you wouldn't believe throwing in the towel. And so I want to encourage you. I don't care how rough it looks. I don't care. Listen, we can tell you some stories. We can tell you some things that we faced as a blended family and how it was so important that we hung in there and that we fought the good fight of faith. Because that's all it is. That fight is only a fight of faith. How strong is your faith? How much do you believe what you say you believe? Let me say that again. How much do you believe what it is you say you believe? Or are you just blowing smoke? That's just why I don't smoke, because I don't like to blow smoke. Yeah. That's why I don't smoke, because I don't like to blow smoke. And so too many people, they're blowing smoke. It sounds good, it looks good. You don't know no difference until now they're in a storm. As soon as that storm comes, let me tell you something. We were there when only $35 was coming in a week. Let me say that again. Only $35 at one time was coming in a week. And we still was decreeing and declaring that we was on top. We still was decreeing and declaring, even when we didn't have a car. It was a time we went from 3 brand new cars to 0. And still was decreeing and declaring all our needs are met. All our desires have been taken care of. And so regardless of what you go through, don't throw in the towel. If we'd have thrown in the towel when we ain't had no cars, we wouldn't be driving our dream car. Let me say that one again. Just think about that. If we'd have thrown in the towel when we ain't have a car, and we was a minute without a car.
Yeah.
And you gotta bum a ride from folks. How you bum a ride? You gotta get a ride from folks that you're getting a ride from folks that really don't even want to assist you and help you, know you down and out, but yet and still you keep your head up high. Because guess what? You don't even understand. Folks want to see you defeated. Some folks want to see you throwing a towel because it validates the stupid things that they say about you. And because you don't have enough colossal guts and you don't have a big enough set of kahunas. Can I say kahunas? You don't have a big enough set of kahunas that you can grab with both hands and stand in this fight. You validate what folks saying. And I just refuse to validate what people say. I don't care what you think. I don't care your opinion. Guess what? I am who God says I am. I'm victorious. I'm triumphant. I'm the head and not the tail, above only and never beneath. I'm the lender, not the borrower. I'm a royal priesthood. My marriage is on top. I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. I'm good. I am good looking. And so I just refused to throw in the towel. I didn't care how it looks. I was going to be victorious because the word says I'm already victorious. Right. And all I got to do, and listen, all you have to do, because the word says you're victorious, all you have to do is line yourself up, line your thoughts up, line your mentality up, line your will up with the word, and you'll walk in the same victory that the word says you should walk in. Mm-hmm. So don't give up. Too many people are throwing in the towel. Keep going, sweetie.
You want me to read this
scripture?
Yes. Mm-hmm. James 1:4 from the Amplified Bible says...
Hold on. The Amplified Bible Classic Edition.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you got to say that part.
Okay. James 1:4 in the Amplified Bible Classic Edition.
Yes. It's important.
But let endurance and steadfastness and patience have full play and do a thorough work, so that you may be people perfectly and fully developed with no defects, lacking in nothing.
So, wow, let me read that. Let endurance. Mm-hmm. First of all, you need some endurance. That's why it's important to work out. You got to work out your physical body and you got to work out your spiritual body. Mm-hmm. You got to work out your mental body. You got to work out your emotional body. That builds up endurance. So he starts off by saying, let endurance and steadfastness and patience have full play and do a thorough work. They all three have an assignment. Steadfastness, endurance, and patience all have an assignment that they got to be thorough in what it is that they do. And so then he goes on to say, so that you may be people perfectly and fully developed. You want to be perfect and fully developed? You got to let this thing take place. You got to let it do what it's designed to do. It's just like working out. Back in November of 2016, I decided, you know what? I need to make some adjustments. I need to do some things in order to achieve the desired weight loss that I wanted to do, that I wanted to have. And so I started going through a process. But if I wouldn't have had patience, if I would not have had endurance.
Well, you started the process before November.
That's right. I started the process before
November.
But November was the catalyst.
Right.
But I started the process. And see, that's something, well, I'm glad you said that, because even during the storm, if there's some things you don't do before the storm, when the storm comes, you don't get the effect, you won't be as effective or as victorious as you should be, because there's some things, thank you, sweetheart, I love you so much for that. I mean, not just for that, but I thank you for that. But there's some things even beforehand that you got to do. Even before this, there was some preparation that I had to do in order to have success even in it. You know, a lot of people say, how can you stop doing this, or how can you stop doing that? That was because even before I started that process, I started the process. Even before you get here, you have to get here. See, there's some things, most things in life, well, not most things, everything is a byproduct of a thought. It's a byproduct of a thought. You thought it, you said it, and so you live it. And so I had to now, at that particular time, I had to see myself then. I had to speak myself then. I had to declare myself then. And then I had to make the necessary steps in order to achieve the desired weight loss that I wanted. And consequently, I wound up losing 128 pounds. But if I wouldn't have had endurance, if I didn't have patience, if I wasn't steadfast, I would not have been able to lose 128 pounds and still look this good.
Oh, my goodness.
I cracked myself up. So finish reading that for me, sweetheart.
You finished that part, so you go to the next.
Go to the next point.
Identify your faith troop and their roles. In Dr. Dee book, Focus, she talks about having a faith troop, faith principle 3. In this, she said, figure out who can go to war with you, determine whom your prayer warriors are, who is good for encouragement, and who can take your mind off the natural. Figure out each person's role during your process and get ready for war. It's important to understand that one person might not be able to fulfill all these positions. Most time there are several individuals that are assigned to fulfill specific roles in your life to help you achieve success.
Now, watch this. Again, identify your faith troop. Everybody should have a faith troop. Everybody should have a group of individuals that they can go to that are specifically designed to assist you in any area that you need in your life. Everybody should have it. And if you don't have it, it's because you're not opening yourself up to it. Because there are people in your life right now that's there to assist you. But let me say this. Sometimes you don't think sometimes you don't think that they're the ones, because they don't fit, quote unquote, the image that you want them to fit. And they don't fit the mold that you think they should fit. A lot of people have missed this exchange with us because we didn't fit the quite mold that most people thought we should fit until they start talking to us, until they start being around us. And once they start experiencing our life on a deeper level, then they start understanding what we brought to the table. But because we're not groupies. See, the reason why you can't get your troop is because you don't want a troop, you want groupies. And see, because we weren't groupies, a lot of people didn't understand what we can help assist them in. But everybody should have a troop. Everybody should have a faith troop in understanding their roles. There's some people in our lives that assist us financially. There's some people in our lives that assist us emotionally. There's some people in our lives that assist us murder-wise. There's some people in our lives that assist us as it relates to our blended family. And so you got to understand that you need a faith troop. And let me say this. It's not going to be just one person. That one person doesn't have all the answers. That one person can't help you meet all those needs. I don't care if that is your good girlfriend and your main man. I don't care who that is. That one person has not been designed to fulfill all those roles to assist you to have success in your life. What's the next point, sweetie?
You read that. That's from Dr. Mike's.
In Dr. Mike's book, During the Storm, because we talked about before the storm, and we talked about during the storm. But in the book, During the Storm, he talked about the huddle up, the gathering of your squad. Because you got a faith troop, and then you got a squad. They almost sound the same, but they're a little bit different. But they're so very close together. You got your faith troop, and then you got your squad. Some key points to share concerning that are this. Your inner circle have to be solid. Because, see, your troop may not be, and that's why I had to make this specific and give you understanding. Your troop may not be your inner circle. There's some people that's a part of your life to assist you in the areas of life that's not really a part of your inner circle, but they have key and value as it relates to you and your destiny. And so your squad, that's your inner circle. Now those cats or those young ladies or whoever you want to call them, they got to be solid. You can't have folks in your inner circle that they up and down, you know, one moment they feel like a nut, like they almond joy. Sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't. You know what I'm saying? One time you want to be married, sometimes you don't want to be married. Sometimes you want to be saved, sometimes you don't want to be saved. You know, one time you want to be happy, next time you don't want to be happy. These folks got to be solid. Come hell, high water, whatever comes up, they got to be solid. Water, no water at all, they got to be solid. And so you got to make sure that your core group of people, that they're solid. When people show you who they are, believe them. That was my girl Maya Angelou. When people show you who they are, believe them. Now let me clarify this, because it's important that we clarify statements.
Right.
When people show you, it's just like, just say for instance, if I got a buddy and I know how my buddy is, but my buddy always making passes at my wife. Guess what he did? He showed me who he was. Why I'm not going to believe him because that's my buddy? Nah, buddy, you got some issues. And because you got some issues, we're going to have to now put some room between ourselves. Because you done crossed the line. But see, what most of you do is you want to give people more credit than credit is due. I'm not saying if a person is struggling with some issues and you're trying to assist them on. I'm saying if they're showing you some things and you're getting red flags, believe the red flags that you see. And so if a person's showing you who they are, believe them. Show me your friends and I can prophesy your future. If you hanging around folks that got a jacked up marriage, they got a jacked up relationship, then guess what? If your marriage isn't jacked up, if your relationship isn't jacked up, eventually it's coming to that. Because birds of a feather do what, sweetheart?
Flock together.
They flock together. Eagles don't hang out with pigeons. Pigeons don't hang out with turkeys. Let me say that again. Eagles don't hang out with pigeons, and pigeons don't hang out with turkeys. Birds of a feather flock together. And so that's important. What's the next one?
What you know is not all there is to know.
I'm going to say this real quick. What you know is not all there is to know. Plain and simple. I don't care how informative on things you think you are. What you know is not all there is to know. That's why we give out, we sowing seeds and gifts or by way of books, DVDs, CDs, because we understand that what we know isn't all there is to know.
Right.
And since what we know isn't all there is to know, then the same goes for you. What you know isn't all there is to know. And so the last point, the very important point we want to get to before we close out is this. Make sure that the tools you are using are appropriate for the job. Make sure that the tools that you are using are appropriate for the job. And this is so important. I remember when we were in North Carolina, I used to build diesel engines. That's right, your boy was a semi-mechanic. I built diesel engines for 2 years. Can I say I hated that job? I really didn't like it. But it was the best paying job in the city and I was going to take it. But it was important to understand some things. There were a lot of things that I learned building diesel engines. And let me say this, I built the diesel engine from the ground up. So I know what I'm talking about when I talk about this. Make sure that your tools, that the tools you are using are appropriate for the job. There were so many times when that engine block came down the assembly line that people were using tools that didn't go or weren't specific to what it is that they were tightening up or what they were putting on. Wow. This is very important because a lot of you watching right now are using tools that's not specific or designed to assist you or to tighten up what needs to be tightened up in your marriage, needs to be tightened up in your blended family, needs to be tightened up in your life. And so you're just grabbing stuff because it looks like it's going to work, and you think it's going to work, and you're using it, and it seems as if you're getting the job done. But what happens is once the engine starts running, and once the oil starts flowing through that thing, and once it starts really pushing, then what happens is that boat loosen up. Can you imagine you got a speedboat and you in the middle of the ocean, and you riding that speedboat, and all of a sudden that thing conks out and it just stops? Guess what happened? That was because they're riding a speedboat with the engine that somebody used to torque something, and it wasn't even the right torque. It didn't have the right calibrations to it. And so it's important to understand that you have to make sure that the tools you are using are appropriate for the job. You have to be careful when you're using certain tools to tighten things up, your blended family. You got to be careful about that. You got to be, it's important. I got to hammer that in. You have to be careful. Listen, you don't want to be on a highway of life and you moving along. I mean, you flowing. Things are going like hand over fist. I mean, you're being blessed. It seems you're being blessed. Your family is prospering, all these good things. Then all of a sudden, your engine lock or a bolt pop off because you haven't used a tool that's been calibrated. Well, what do you mean by that? The Word of God calibrates us. Mm-hmm. The Word of God is the calibrated tool that we use in order to get the success that we want out of life. You can't use a monkey wrench for everything. You can't use a socket wrench for everything. There's some tools that are specifically designed for you to tighten up that bolt so that it can last the duration of that engine. Mm-hmm. There are some things that are just specific. And so we want to encourage you, listen, make sure that the tools you're using are specific for the job that they're designed for. Listen, we're almost out of time. Oh my God, I tell you this goes so fast. But we're almost out of time, but we're not out of message. But listen, we just want to be an encouragement to you. Sweetheart, we forgot to take down the third viewer. The third viewer.
Let's see if I can go back.
So the third person he views, I think that was Kelly. Was that Kelly? I think it was. So Kelly, what's Kelly's last name?
No, actually, wait a minute. No? Hold on. You just talk. I look.
Okay.
You finish off.
So Kelly, we got this DVD just for you.
Kelly it was actually Chelsea.
Well, we're gonna do two.
It was Chelsea.
We're gonna do one DVD for Kelly and one DVD for Chelsea. So this is how you get this. How you ladies get this DVD. You want to email us at weareablendedfamily@gmail.com. That's weareablendedfamily@gmail.com, and we're gonna make sure that we send you this DVD. I'm telling you, it's absolutely phenomenal. It's called Storms. It's by Pastor Michael A. Freeman. And I tell you, you will thoroughly enjoy this. There's some things that he shared that's just going to be so insightful as it relates to your maturity, especially in your family life. The storms, because let me tell you something. Every one of us have storms assigned to us. Let me say that again. Every one of us, whether you want to or not, there's some storms that's assigned to your life. And there's some things that you're going to have to know what to do before the storm. There's some things that you're going to have to know what to do during the storm. Mm-hmm. And there's some things that you're going to have to know what to do after the storm. And so this DVD is going to cover a litany of topics, a litany of things, going to give you some insight as relates to all three parts of the storm and what it is you need to do and how you can be an overcomer.
Yes.
And so we're just excited. Listen, if you have any questions as relates to this, if you want a little bit more clarity as relates to this, you can hit us up at weareablendedfamily@gmail.com. And I tell you, we will make sure that we either answer it on the next episode or we'll answer it in some type of correspondence. But we want to make sure that we can get all your questions Make sure that we answer everything, some things you're not clear about, or you just want a little bit more insight. That's how you reach us. Listen, we're excited to share with you guys every Tuesday at 7:30. It's been an honor. It's been a privilege. We're just, you just have no idea how excited we are, especially on Tuesdays, knowing that we're going to be with you guys and we're going to be sharing this. So we love you. We thank you.
Hey, Roland.
Hey, Roland, what's going on? And until next week, God bless.
Bye, guys.